Coming to you live from the Cowboys headquarters in Frisco. Deep in the heart of Texas, it's the Star at Night.
Wow, dramatic much?
Why are you getting in the way of my intro?
You mean our intro? We're your hosts. I'm Kelsey Charles.
And I'm David Hellman.
Okay, let's just start this show now.
Well, that sucked. You know, Kels, when you're in a 6-game win streak, there's a reason why I was savoring the fun so much. You know why? Because in the NFL, when you least expect it, you're going to get kicked in the junk. And I think that's what happened to the Dallas Cowboys in Week 9 against the Denver Broncos. 30-16, and it wasn't as close as the score indicates, was it?
It was the ghost of Cowboys' offense's past. I was honestly taken aback by what I witnessed in person on Sunday. And,
oh, yeah, you went.
Yeah.
So you're not welcome back at AT&T Stadium, right? You're superstitious, aren't you?
Okay, let's move.
You can't go anymore.
Yeah, well.
And you at home, whatever you wore, whatever your hoodie or your jersey, that's got to go in the trash.
This is coming from the guy that was literally in attendance all last season, miss me with it.
I'm playing by your superstitious rules. I'm playing, this is the dumb stuff that y'all say. So you got to throw that in the garbage.
Okay.
Try again.
So can us all, including this Dallas Cowboys offense, because it was miserable, to say the least. Dave, honestly, I want to talk about this. 18 minutes, time of possession for them the entire game, only converting about a third of their first downs, not to mention just some really errant throws and dropped balls. I mean, what was happening?
I'll tell you what was happening. All 11 of the guys that play offense for the Cowboys, with maybe the exception of Zeke Elliott, played like crap. I think it was the worst game of Dak Prescott's career since they traded for Amari Cooper. That's 2+ seasons, been a while. Offensive line struggled. Obviously, that's going to happen when you don't have Tyron Smith. The receivers. You realize, coming off of the Vikings game with the late game heroics, we made a lot of the fact that Amari Cooper hasn't dropped a target to this point.
Well,
drops at 3rd and 1 in the open field. Throw Tony Pollard in there as well. Throw CeeDee Lamb. Him and Dak couldn't get on the same page in the deep game. Have I left anybody out?
I mean, literally,
have I left anybody out?
No one had a good game, and I can't even give credit to one person. Honestly, the best play, in my opinion, was Pollard's opening run, and then it all went downhill from here.
Which, he starts off with a great kickoff. You think, all right, here we go.
So exciting.
Cowboys go 4 and out. I love the 4th down calls. I don't care what you say. I love the 4th down calls. It was a 50-yard drive up to the point on the second one. And Dak just biffs the throw to Cedric Wilson in the flat on a play that probably would have gone for a lot, by the way.
Yeah.
I can't wrap my head around everybody on offense deciding to play their worst game of the season at the same time.
Well, luckily, though, we have lots more to talk about because the defense didn't do much better. And they were also historically bad. Really, truly being a lot more reminiscent of 2020 seasons, and it just was completely a missed opportunity for this team. I mean, I don't even know where to begin. They doubled in the amount of rushing yards they've allowed all season. It was just making a rookie look like a Pro Bowler already. I get it, he was a draft pick, but
you were mad about that.
I was mad about that.
Javonte Williams.
I was.
3rd running back taken in the draft. He sure as hell looked like it on Sunday.
Listen.
You brought up 2020, man, and that's all I could think about is okay, they're playing like garbage. This is where the rally comes, just like the Atlanta game last year, just like the Cleveland game.
14 missed tackles.
No rally whatsoever. It never came. Again, like I said, throw the garbage time touchdowns out of here. I'm glad they didn't get shut out. You don't ever want to carry a shutout on your record because that stuff gets brought up. Literally in the press box, we were like, oh, they haven't been shut out since 1991. People keep track of that. So I'm glad they got rid of that statistic, but what a beating. I can't, very few times, honestly, probably against Denver in 2017 was the last time I've seen the Cowboys just get spanked like that from beginning to end.
Yeah, I mean, literally, I'm telling you, it was, to me, I was thinking about the New Orleans game that Monty Kiffin.
Oh.
I was like, is Monty Kiffin in the building?
We're bringing up the bad memories.
I'm sorry, but tell me I'm wrong. And honestly, you call it garbage time? The entire game was garbage time, so honestly, I don't want to hear it. It was just overall a poor performance, and call it a trap game. call it ill-prepared, call it what you want, but it was trash.
I want to talk about something else.
I do too.
Can we have more segments on the show, right?
We do.
Can
and
we do that?
There are a lot of curse words being thrown around on Sunday. I was really doing a good job of keeping it PC on Twitter for once in my life. But we're going to go into what the bleep was going on, breaking down more of those topics coming up next.
Cowboys Star at Night is brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors, the official sporting goods retailer of the Dallas Cowboys. AT&T. And by Favor, the official on-demand food delivery partner of the Dallas Cowboys. This segment is brought to you by the Dallas Morning News. Nobody does sports like Sports Day. Your home for complete Dallas Cowboys coverage.
All right, so this next segment is basically going to be rated PG-13 because I got a lot
It's a very somber tone.
of choice words.
Because of the loss or because of the curse words?
Yeah, I mean, no, I don't. I think there's studies out there that show that if you curse, you're smarter. So, like, basically, I'm brilliant. But I'm not the only intelligent one by those standards because Twitter was lit on Sunday, and
That's
a lot
one
of
way to
people
say
had
it.
a lot of things to say. All right, so people were in our mentions, DallasCowboys.com
Yes.
crew.
Yes.
And Jason had something to say. We're going to decide who he's talking about, A, B, or C. He told Nikki, and he goes, I've been saying that all along. Was he saying the Cowboys? That would be aggressive, Jason.
Yeah.
Diggs as B or Micah as staying at linebacker?
This feels like B to me, which everybody and their mother ran out of the woodwork to say, like, the Cowboys aren't that good. Like, you're just trying to protect yourself. I get it. You're full of crap. But Trayvon gave up, he had a pass interference. He gave up a touchdown. This is a lightning rod conversation. I'm sure we're talking about him.
All right, so it was talking about Trayvon Diggs, but Jason, this is an incorrect take, and I need you to get some help because everyone is entitled to have a bad game, and Trayvon Diggs is no different. He's been incredible this entire season, and that is a cheap and classless narrative that I have seen thrown around by national. It's so ridiculous.
Classless.
Like, come on. Are we trying for clickbait or are we trying for clickbait? Calm down, guys. That's ridiculous.
All I'm saying is when you lead the league in interceptions, you're going, again, he's a lightning rod player. He's the face of this defense, and teams are going to test him. 2 straight weeks, they've tested him somewhat successfully.
Sure.
I'm just saying this is going to be a narrative for the rest of the season as long as he's leading the league in interceptions, which he will be. I don't think he's overrated, but I understand where the conversation comes from.
If they ain't talking about you, you're not relevant. So I'm blaming the red stripe before I blame anything. All right, coming up next, we got another one to talk about. Rob Phillips took some heat. He says, Long Island Fisherman, great name. We learned a lot about blank. A, how some NFL rules make no sense. That's valid. B, how strange the NFL is with all these upsets. And then Steele today, he can't play multiple positions.
B is way too measured of a take. Like, B is too rational. It's got to be C again.
I gotta look at the timestamp of this tweet to
We're going
see, like,
full
how
knee-jerk.
in we are.
We're going full knee-jerk. It's got to be C, right?
It's C.
Which the guy moves to left tackle and struggle. I get it.
Yeah.
Again, I get it. I don't think that's true, though. He played left tackle in training camp. He did it some last year.
Right.
But you give him 1 week to make this transition. He's not Tyron Smith. Nobody is. Tyron Smith is an alien sent here from the moon Titan to play football. That's what he is. And so it's going to be hard for anybody to fill in for that.
Yeah.
I think if you give him more time, he could be better at it. But Sunday was rough.
Yeah, listen, there's a lot of talk about who was going to play this position. Lyle Collins played left tackle in college. You thought about him as a viable option. This team really does believe in Terrence Steele and his capabilities. And honestly, we have to give credit where credit is due. Making a switch from left to right tackle or right to left tackle isn't as easy as maybe we'd like to draw it up to be. It is what it is.
If Tyron's not ready for Atlanta, do you play Steele or
Don't
Lyle?
ask me this.
Exactly. You don't want to answer it. That's all I'm saying.
I don't want to answer it. I just don't want to have to deal with this again.
All right, keep going.
All right, let's do the last one really quickly because we only have a few more minutes. And this one is in your mentions, my friend. So if you cheat, I guess you can't because you're the one that saw it in general. If you even read your tweets, Alex Gonzalez said, you ain't. I really hope it's B.
I really hope it's B, too. I'm going to guess it's A. because people love to call me stupid in the second half of losses.
Sit down.
I'm guessing it's A. Yeah, there we. Oh, you know, yeah, thank you, Alex. No crap. You know what though? I am paid to offer my opinions. I get paid to offer. I'm sorry about it.
When you salty.
I would have pulled him out. I would have pulled him out after the first touchdown drive. First one's fine. Get him some reps. Man, running a QB keeper for a 2-point conversion late in a blowout, I didn't like it. I'm not the coach, Alex. You're right. I still wouldn't have done it.
Well, you're not the only one. And again, the conversation was around keeping Dak in the game as long as he did. Dak afterwards was like, I didn't even consider it.
No, of course. It's not his job to consider. It's his job to play football. It's somebody else's job to be like, how useful is this really?
Yeah, well, I just really feel like Alex had to get a lot off his chest, and so
Fine.
I
I
hope
get
he's
it.
feeling better today.
I'm here to help you with that.
Take a lap, my friend. We've got more to talk about, though. Hopefully, this Cowboys team will see better days. We've got more coming up for you guys up next.
This segment was brought to you by the Dallas Morning News. Nobody does sports like Sports Day. Your home for complete Dallas Cowboys coverage. This segment is brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors, official sporting goods retailer of the Dallas Cowboys.
All right, David, since we are eternal optimists here, and by we, I mean
Yeah.
me, because we all know that's not you.
But that's what's weird. Like, I feel defensive and I'm like optimistic this week, and I don't like the way that it feels.
Are you claiming the Cowboys as your team? Are you a Cowboys fan?
No, I'm a intrepid journalist. I'm even keeled, and that's why I just need everybody to calm the hell down.
You need to calm down.
Thank you,
All
Taylor.
right. Well, we are going to give you one reason to calm down, or at least be superstitious or stitious, whatever you like to call it, because apparently this is a trend with Super Bowl winning teams to, have a blowout loss. So we went back and did some digging, and I need to get your thoughts, Dave, on if this is a trend that we think this Dallas Cowboys team is just really trying to get behind.
I'll give you my thought. Like, literally, this stuff drives me nuts. Like, people do not understand this league at all. Like, all throughout that game, they're like, well, guess we're frauds. Teams that don't want to win championships don't lose games like this. What the hell are you talking about? Do you even watch the NFL? 2020's right there. I remember watching the second half of that game in the Cowboys press box. Tampa Bay just getting slaughtered by the Saints. It goes through the years. The 2019 Chiefs and the 2013 Seahawks are the only teams in recent memory that haven't had an L like this. Check out 2011,
The
Kels.
list goes on.
Check out 2011. Young Davey Hellman, as
You
a
losing
wee
your mind?
as a wee lad, was
wee little lad.
he was in attendance at the Superdome in 2011 to watch the New York Giants just get killed by the Saints, only to win the Super Bowl 6 weeks later. Makes me sick just thinking about it. Guess what? Stuff happens. You
Yeah.
sometimes get your ass kicked in the most even league in the world. It's just a thing.
Oh, look, apparently the Cowboys have also taken a part of this trend. And I wouldn't hate if they added 2021 to the list because, you know what? The trend continues. Am I right?
Okay, look, all 5 of the Super Bowl teams had this happen. And I'm not here to say the Cowboys are going to win the Super Bowl. That's not my point.
But you're not here to say that.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to admit it, but that is true. I'm not saying it. And I'm also saying weird stuff happens. I think hopefully it was kind of hammered home on Sunday when Buffalo, New Orleans, Green Bay.
The NFL was drunk on Sunday.
The NFL was wasted drunk on Sunday, and this was part of it. It's not an excuse for the Cowboys for, I think, showing up incredibly flat and unready to play. But this stuff happens.
Okay, so I want to break it down a little bit more, though, because obviously it was less than desirable, the outcome and that performance. But was it just a bad week, or should we really be worried?
I'm not worried at all. And I feel weird because I am usually
very out of character.
You call me Eeyore, right?
Yeah.
I'm usually like, I feel like this about the Cowboys. I don't care. I don't care that this happened. It shouldn't have happened. Don't get me wrong. This is a good team. They have a month and a half of results that say that they're a good team. For whatever reason, they weren't ready for this challenge. Not saying they're going to pulverize Atlanta, but I think they're going to play much better next week. And if they don't, that's when I get worried.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you too. Like, I think that this team obviously has the talent and obviously can do it. They've shown us they're more than capable. If you could do it once, I truly believe you could do it again. I also feel the same way about the other side of the spectrum when you show up and play like you did on Sunday or lack thereof. So I definitely think there are some things need to be corrected and quickly, and there needs to be some accountability taken for sure this week.
You sound like Eeyore.
I know.
I'm good.
Isn't it
I'm
great?
good.
My, how the turntables.
Call me. Would I be Winnie the Pooh? I guess I'm Tigger. Which makes sense.
If you call me Winnie the Pooh, I will
I didn't even think about that.
end you.
I didn't even think about that.
Just so we're abundantly clear.
Sorry.
Anyways, all right, guys. Well, we're on to Atlanta, and I want to discuss what is coming up for Dan Quinn as he faces off with his former team. Stay with us.
This segment is brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors, official sporting goods retailer of the Dallas Cowboys.
You know, lost in the shuffle of a very bad performance is the fact that this has been a week of significance on the schedule since it came out. In case you're not familiar, Cowboys defensive coordinator Dan Quinn
In case you've been hiding under a rock.
spent some time with the Atlanta Falcons. He was asked about it this week. Check it out.
Well, I think, one, I have great memories for there, and I always will. And I think a lot of the really cool and things that we accomplished there, and there were a lot of them, versus how it ended. And I think that's an important declaration. I'll certainly be forever grateful to Arthur to give me the opportunity there, and to all the players I had the privilege to coach. But you guys saw the performance yesterday, so there is no time to take a stroll down memory lane. Like, we got some to fix. So I'll be right where my feet are, right where I'm supposed to be, going after it as hard as we can, worrying about the jerseys that I coach now, and we'll throw a hell of a week.
First things first, Dan Quinn will forever have my heart for knowing when to drop a well-timed expletive. I wish they would let me do it on our show. I'm just not as important as Dan. Kels, purely from a selfish standpoint, and I'm Eeyore, right? I don't care about these storylines. So, with all due respect to Dan Quinn and everything he did in Atlanta, the reunion storyline bores me. And so, in a way, maybe it's a good thing that the defense struggled, because it gives me something else to talk about besides this. I don't know. Am I crazy?
I mean, listen, here's the thing. I know Dan Quinn is married, but I think I might be in love with him.
Oh, okay.
What an actual king to come out and be like, yep, totally acknowledging this, but also whatever happened last week is what I'm focused on. So I respect the hell out of that.
Crap to fix.
There's literally no surprise to me at all that this man has this locker room just completely bought in, and it makes sense. But yeah, I'm actually going to go against you and say that it does matter, because let's all face it, sports are very mental. It's a very mental game, and he spent a lot of time in Atlanta, and it was pretty hairy there at the end. And I think that matters. I think coming off of a tough loss that they really honestly should not have lost at all against Denver, and then facing his former team, that's got to be something that a guy like Dan Quinn has to really make sure he's dialed in, getting ready for this weekend.
Well, and it could also be a benefit as well. Not only are there guys from Atlanta here with him, DeMonte Casey, Keanu Neal, but this locker room clearly seems to love Dan Quinn, right? And so they're going to deny it. That's what happens during weeks like this. But I'm
Give
sure
us the PC answer.
it will be a point of emphasis to get him a dub over the team that let him go. If they win this game,
Yep.
I bet you he'll get a game ball.
Ooh, I could definitely see that happen.
Just saying.
And quite frankly, it would be deserved. I mean, listen, again, what he's been able to do, removing last weekend has been nothing short of impressive. You are so right when you say this team is so bought in on him. They want to win for him.
Maybe I do care about this storyline after all.
Maybe you do care
I didn't
about
think
this
about the
team.
fact that it could help the Cowboys focus, which seemed like it was an issue last week.
This is what I'm here for, to ground you, to give you the true things to think about.
Like I said, I don't think it really matters that much at the end of the day, but whatever can give you an edge, which
Nothing really matters.
don't. 2 weeks in a row, she's stealing my bit. What can I say? We'll be right back after this, talking about an addition that just might help that offense get out of its funk. We'll be right back.
Cowboys Star at Night was brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors, the official sporting goods retailer of the Dallas Cowboys. AT&T. And by NFL Game Pass. You'll never miss a game again. Enjoy full and condensed game replays from Week 1 to the Super Bowl.
Dave, are you comfortable?
Very. Why?
You just like kick up your feet.
Yeah. Oh,
Like my mother would be like, get your feet off the
hidden
table.
by the set. It's fine.
He's like, guys, casual flex. Look at my shoes.
It's my TV show.
Those are Atlanta Falcons colors.
It's
I'm
our
looking forward to
TV
the fact
show.
that you're definitely perpetuating the other team right now.
It's red. It's like the Atlanta Falcons do not have a monopoly on the color red.
They might.
Neither does.
Especially on game week.
Go away.
All right, so I do want to talk to you, though, about something that the Cowboys might have up their sleeves to help bring things back a little bit offensively. Michael Gallup is expected to make a return to the lineup.
Yes.
Tell me about the impact this could do for this team.
Well, you see Dak missing CD Lamb deep repeatedly on Sunday, which he's hit him on deep balls this season before. I get it, but that is Michael Gallup's specialty. I think this offense has been lacking that dynamic a little bit, an outside guy who can go up and get contested balls. Michael Gallup brings something to this offense. Obviously, they didn't miss him too much. They won 6 games over the last month and a half, but I think he brings a downfield element to this offense that hasn't consistently been there.
You talk a lot about taking the top off the defense, and like you mentioned, like that's something that Michael Gallup can do and do well. So I guess I'm wondering, though, how does this shake up the offensive game plan in terms of all these weapons that Kellen Moore has to play with?
They play everybody. They've got 5 receivers right now who have played 20 or more % of the snaps. You rotate things. Cedric Wilson's more of a slot guy. Noah Brown maybe gets fewer snaps because of this. I promise you, they will find a way to make it work, and it's going to be fun. Welcome back, Mikey G.
It's going to be fun. Buckle up, everyone, because the Dallas Cowboys are about to make a comeback. We're speaking it into existence. See you guys next time.